Hey everyone, it's sysadmin Sean, and tonight on Desk to Data Center, we are going to be working with Ansible. So stay tuned and get ready to automate all the things. All right, so part of me kind of feels bad because I have pointed out some of the tools we use and then not actually use them. So tonight we're going to use some. The first thing we're going to do is we got to get Ansible set up on our Linux server. It's our Git server, so we're going to use it for Ansible too. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use ChatGPT, I know, just to get some information. And we're going to try to follow this guide a little bit and kind of build our guide as we go. So step one, we need to do updates, sudo DNF update, which we probably needed to do a million times before. Oh, we probably got to patch a GitHub. Yep, so we'll grab those real quick. And then as that's going, we'll come back when it finished. Okay, we have finished doing updates on the system. We only had 2, but GitLab took forever. So the next thing we need to do is install the eapel repository, or EPEL, which is where the Ansible package lives. So let's do that. It'll probably ask me if I want to accept some keys and accept the repo. So then we'll do install Ansible. And it's going to install some dependencies like Python 3.9, which is cool because we will need that for other stuff. Python pip, which is cool because we'll need that for other stuff, and it will also enable some module streams. We trust eapel, good people. All right, with that done, we will test to make sure that Ansible is installed. That autocomplete is probably a good thing. Yeah, and there we go. 2.13.3. Ansible is installed. So let's make our first playbook. Now again, I'm using ChatGPT because it's a tool I use. I'm not a great programmer, but let's do everything we're going to be working in is going to be YAML files. So I asked ChatGPT to give us a simple Ansible playbook that would just give us the partitions on the system. We should be able to set hosts to localhost, and we should be good for the rest. Now this is where I want to point something out to everybody about using ChatGPT. Obviously, I didn't give it any private information about my systems, and I asked it something very simple because I don't fully understand everything about Ansible yet. I'm still learning. So I can look at this and go, okay, all it's going to do is run the command df-h, and then it's going to put everything in what's called partitions output. And then it's going to give me debug information to show me that there was something in there. So we're going to save that. Then we're just going to do Ansible playbook, diskcheck.yaml. And there we go. So see, it connected. It said right here, we didn't give it a list of hosts, so it didn't do it in its implicit local host. We don't have an inventory configured yet, which is something we can go into later. The play is show partitions. First, it's got to figure out who it's going to be doing that from, localhost. And then it said run the command on localhost. And here we go. There's the output file system. And if we do it here manually, looks the exact same. So there we go. We just built our first Ansible playbook to look at hard drive. And that's just scratching the very, 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 very tippity top of the surface. Let's get a little bit more crazy. We're going to do one more playbook. And I have asked ChatGPT to help us. It says the first thing we need to do is install something else. So we're going to install PyVM OMI. What? I don't have pip. Oh, pip3. And that's going to go through and grab some stuff. It might even say that pip is out of date. Nope. Cool, we're all good. Yeah. You shouldn't do it as root. So now we have a module that's been added in for our Ansible work, so that this playbook will work for us. So let's look at this playbook. So we're going to create a VM on an ESXi host. All right. So after a whole lot of problems and a whole lot of hemming and hawing and a whole lot of looking everywhere for everything ever, I had to figure out some stuff that I didn't know because I haven't worked with sole ESXi hosts before. And I had to make some modifications because ChatGPT, as we know, isn't always 100% accurate. So here is our very baseline script, and we'll go through each piece of it. So the main thing is it's got a name called create VM. Host we're referencing via Etsy Ansible hosts in a subsection called ESXi, which is where this host name's IP address lives. The task we're going to do is create a virtual machine on ESXi host. Here's our first hiccup that I should have known about but didn't. We needed the community.vmware VM guest Ansible Galaxy info. And to get to that, you basically let's grep our history. Grep Ansible Galaxy. I think it's community install. Let's just pull out all of them. Yep. Install collection install community VMware. You have to make sure that that's installed. It was actually installed, but I went ahead and it got an update. And then you also need to grab one other Python package called requests. So once we did pip3 install requests, Ansible Galaxy community install for VMware, we get to start working on our YAML file. We got all that in. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Username, password, folder /VM. If you're working with just an ESXi host, this is the default. Same for Datacenter. HA Datacenter is the default. I didn't know this. I had to look it up. I had no idea. Name, we just gave it test VM001. We're gonna have it. Let's change this to powered off. We're setting a basic guest ID, CentOS. We're given a 10 gig thin provisioned hard drive and data store, 512 megs of RAM, 4 CPUs. So we're giving it a lot. And then down here, you specify a name. I don't care so much about specifying a MAC address. I don't think I have to have that. I have tested it with it and it worked. I'm going to remove it and see if that works. And then that's just a bunk IP address, so it has something. And that's it. And then we go to delegate localhost and register deploy VM. And then if everything does work, you should see something like this when you run a playbook. And there we go. So play recap, okay, one changed, and then let's hop over to our host. And there is our virtual machine that we made. Just so you guys can verify, there's 4 CPUs, 512 gigs of RAM. It's set to CentOS 4.5, even though. And there's our 10 gig hard drive, and it's in VLAN 31, and it's already connected. And that's how quick you can build a basic virtual machine. Now, obviously, it doesn't have an OS on it or anything like that. Realistically, again, vCenter, templating, that's where you really want to go with this kind of stuff. But as you can see with this type of code, and I'll put this up on the GitHub repo, you can deploy a VM to an ESXi host, no problem. And it, you could literally copy this, and all you got to do is change this field here and this field here, and then change your CPU, memory, hard drive space, and your networking, and you're done. And then you can just run this playbook over and over and over, changing those few things, and spin up as many VMs as you want to. Now, as we get a little bit further into this, we'll either have templates, or we might even build a Pixie server so that we can load ISOs and boot off of them and have kickstart files that have everything pre-configured. But I would prefer templates personally. All right, and that wraps up our very first Ansible desk to data center video. Some other things I'm going to add in the comments below, in the description down below. There's apparently a really good YouTube series about really deep diving into Ansible 101 and getting everything rule configured and working the way you want to. I'm going to link his YouTube down in the description below, so you can check out that playlist and really kind of learn a lot more about Ansible than what I'm going to go over in this little video and what I might do in the future. But I'm also going to put in the playbooks that I wrote today, put those on the repo so that you can look them over and compare. And yeah, that's it. Have a good one, and we hope to see you in the next one.